Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
And just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya
Fucking
and
high out of my mind from one of those weed pens.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh man, so this is not going to go well. I just want to warn everybody right at the top.
Yeah. Well, it is your birthday, so you have an excuse. What did you do?
You know what?
What did
I
you
do.
do for your birthday? You wouldn't tell me what you did for your birthday, and I want to know what
It
you did
was
for your birthday.
a Bible study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Bible
Yeah, just a very deep,
studies
intense
were
Bible study.
if there was like Bible porn,
It's my favorite thing, man.
Bible porn. Interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of porn, I mean, we're starting off your birthday episode with just some really appropriate stuff, but you know, I was like, I was surprised at how surprised I was. I am surprised at how surprised I was to like stumble across this whole thing of like fart videos on Pornhub. Like, I don't know
man.
why I was so shocked to see that and why I had never seen it before. You know, like I don't know, the website itself, if they've been undergoing maintenance, maybe some professional out there could tell us, but I feel like they've cheaped out a lot, and so you can't like see previews, and you can't even like go back to like things that you were looking at before. So it's kind of like you're just more at the mercy of whatever like videos pop up, and you don't even really get to see them. So your selection process is kind of gotten a little bit more
It
difficult.
gets limited.
Yeah,
And sometimes you go down the wrong rabbit hole there. Wow.
Well, anyways, yeah,
Well-
like the one video that I had seen, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like I know about stuff like, you know, I know that there's pretty much a video or there's a type of thing out there for just about anybody, and I
Anything and
definitely
everyone.
know that there's some really random, raunchy, nasty stuff, but for some reason, something that, depending on who you are, either seems so innocent or so disgusting. Fart videos, like these hot girls that just like sit there and talk to you like it's like one of those like point of view things, like the camera's supposed to be you, and you know they're just talking to you, and then they're just like farting.
Just
like,
wait.
yeah, they're just like
They're just talking into the camera.
they're talking into the
And then-
camera, and they're saying, "Oh, like I just laid this really stinky fart. I'm so embarrassed."
Oh,
what's
because they are
that?
talking
You want-"
about it.
Yeah, like they're
It's
talking.
like, what do you want for dinner?
No, well,
Like-
I mean,
Okay.
it kind of goes off into different things, but like that's the whole thing is like this person's just farting, and you're like, what the fuck am I watching right now? You know, you're like, I don't know whether I should be turned on or not like this, and then you're just like,
You know, I
you're like, this has got to be a troll. Like they're watching us. You know, you're stoned and you're paranoid. You're like, this, like, I can't pull down my pants right now while this is going on because they're gonna
it's,
like,
yeah, the
they're-
fucking camera's gonna come on,
gonna
take
be
a
like, "We
take a
gotcha.
you know an image of you.
we
yeah.
gotcha.
Go to some kid in Bangladesh who's gonna just hold you for ransom for $500 a month for the rest of your life. Yeah, you don't need that kind
Oh,
of
man.
negativity in there.
No, it reminds me of that one trippy Black Mirror episode where like the kid's
Oh,
like
yeah.
trying to retrieve, except that kid, you know, that whole twist at the end.
Except
it was just
that was awful.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly. But that's like that whole twist at the end where you're just like, I was like totally feeling terrible for this person, and now I don't give a shit at all. Like that was fucked up, you know. Anyways, we're going way off topic. People have no idea what we're talking about. I'm drinking a White Claw.
Well, no, I've
And-
been there before. You remember my old roommate Mark, right?
Mark, no, I have not.
Oh wait, shit. Have we been through this before? Okay. Well,
Is he the
anyways, he
clown's
used to live
brother?
here.
The brother of the clown?
brother.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So he, me and him, he showed me a video one time, and it was like our favorite. It was like one of our go-to things for a minute. It was called cake farts, and I was like, "What the fuck is cake farts?" And he would show it, and then it would be like, "It's this chick," and she's like, "You know what I love most? Cake farts." And then she just like puts her ass in a cake and just starts farting into it. And you're just
Well,
like,
see,
"What
that's
the
something
fuck?"
that's specific, though. That's something that's like random and shocking. I mean, I don't know. I guess it is. I guess that because it's just more shocking, that it doesn't seem as surprising to me. Like the fact that there are just dudes over there, like really just demanding for, you know, because they're paying these women. lots of money to go get naked and fart in front of a camera. That seems like work. You would think that being on set for like a regular porno or something would have its benefits. I get it. I know that even then they get tired of that shit because it's their job. But still, going and watching like people have sex. I don't actually know what that'd be like, but it seems like
I feel like that'd be like almost like not nearly like what. Like it's like, oh, you could like build up a thing in your head. You're like, but I feel like if you were like there, like it wouldn't be like
true. But I don't think that it would. I think there's still something about sitting there and just having a girl naked farting in front of you for like a whole day, because you got to get different takes and shit, of this person farting. It's like I don't know how many takes, but
what
imagine
do you do if they mess up the take,
dude? I know that they put a lot of work into these videos and they look edited. So from my experience with just simple filming and editing with friends, sometimes things take up a lot longer. So all I'm saying is a guy just sitting there, recording some girl farting for like 6 hours a day just seems like such an unusual thing. Like, is there really that much of a demand for it? Apparently there is. Well,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Maybe there's some CGI involved too.
I want to know what other people think about the fart, the porn, the fart in the porn, the porn farts videos. Are you guys like fans of them? Is anybody
just
out
call
there?
Up our hotline.
Just
leave
call
us a
up
voice
the
message,
hotline
something
right
like
now. Tell me who your favorite fart models are, and what your favorite videos are. I'm gonna go do some research.
Oh man. Turns out it's just like 4 million people. Like all of a sudden, I put that in the tags for this. Just this show fucking blows up overnight just with fart weirdos.
Hey, farts really get people going. I mean, it's like the episode of Letterkenny, which you still have not seen. Fart book.
I actually saw a couple episodes of it. So
and
yeah.
And what did you think?
And actually, it was good. I gotta give it to you. It was good. It was fucking funny.
Aren't the characters...
the premises and things like that are so stupid, but like the back and forth, it just makes up for like everything. And granted, I've only seen like one or two, and the second one I was pretty stoned for and don't remember most of it. So,
well, it's definitely the characters that make the show. Like it's such a simple concept, and I think Aaron said it best when I showed it to him the first time. He said, "This is basically just live action South Park." It's just like stupid. Yeah. Like it's just like a small town with like a bunch of different freaking idiots, and they all have personalities and characters. They're all characters that you actually like get used to and really look forward to seeing. It's hard to say what my favorite character is or which one makes me laugh the most, but
I just love that they're constantly just like fist fighting.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know why that was just cracking me up.
Like they have it like super badass too, where it's like really good music. I mean, you could discover some pretty dope music in the show. Like it's like this indie rock song, some Black Keys just type of like blues rock song, and slow motion shots of him just like like just rolling up his sleeves and taking a shot of whiskey and kicking somebody's ass, and then it goes right back into joking about it. Like all this shit. It's such a good show. I love it. I
Dude, yeah, I will definitely be. It's on my queue now. What am I go to? Like, okay, what sounds good right now? And that's gonna work for a bunch of it, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I just got done watching American Honey. Have you heard of that one?
No, what's that?
It's the Shia LaBeouf movie that just came out. Like, it's kind of like. It's a really long movie, actually, for what it is, but it's shot in the way of. Like Kids, or it was kind of like in between Kids and that one movie that came out, The Florida Project, where Willem Dafoe was in it, and it was like a very real and gritty, like, capture of like this girl's life and kind of this really seedy things that like go on in the lifestyle of like motels, except this one had to do with like kids from middle America that really were just like, from the worst scenario, they all, ended up getting this job as a magazine salesman. They go door to door, but as a group, like this, basically a magazine pimp girl. She's like their pimp, freaking like kind of just goes around, and they have Shia LaBeouf's like the leader trainer of this group that's also her like the pimp's like sex slave. And so he recruits like these kids at random places, and they all go on these buses to these hotels in different parts of the country where they like target specific neighborhoods, and they go, you know, sell like fake subscriptions of magazines or whatever, or real ones. I don't know. And then they get, it was like a really strange movie, but it's shot just to be like, there's really like no plot to it. It's just like this long movie of this girl getting sucked into it, and, you know, and fucking Shia LaBeouf and like fighting with him. And then, you know, them just going through and dealing with whatever shit comes up. It's interesting, to say the least.
Wow, that sounds weird as fuck.
It is weird
like,
as fuck.
even for Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, dude, that guy's always just, you know, kind of like impressing me with his weirdness. He's just fucking strange. He's out there, dude. I guess fucking holes will do that to you as a kid, dude.
Oh, man, I was thinking Disney Channel just fucked that kid up.
Probably.
All those Disney kids went crazy, yeah?
Really? Like who? Like Hillary Duff? Last I know, she's still kicking ass with her big ass.
Yeah, well, I think but she kind of fell off though. She's like, not anymore. She knew enough to get out of the game,
right?
Know?
Well, what I meant by kicking ass is that she's not crazy. Like she didn't have a mental breakdown, or she's not dating. You know,
got a pretty low bar for kicking ass, and I like it.
Well, hey, dude. I mean, you can't set the bar too high these days.
Are you not clinically insane? Screaming into cameras behind a green screen, you are kicking ass. All right. I feel fucking good about myself today.
I mean, come on, let's be real. I would definitely be screaming and fucking losing my mind if I was pulling that shit as a little kid. I'm like, you know, fucking a 31-year-old kid over here that like losing my mind just from going to festivals and shit.
The both of us fucking barely made it by without fucking millions of eyes on us, and just this insane amount of pressure to put on kids. Like, yeah, we would have fucking cracked quick.
Yeah, good news is...
It would have been full Drew Barrymore.
You know, I still have
14.
time, because like everything's kind of shifted since the time our parents were born. You know, they're saying a lot of things, you know, are making up for... like basically like, you know, 27 is like... The old 27 is now like 35. You know, 35 is the new 27. So I basically have 4 more years to like do reckless shit and die, and then I can join like our generation's version of the 27 Club.
Is that also going to be your defense in court as to why you should be tried as a minor?
Well, I mean, not a minor. No, not a minor. Well, what?
Well,
no.
you know, if Your Honor, really, if you do the math, like 31 is the new 17. Therefore, how could I have known this? Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a good argument, though. I just, you know, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we can get to that. I think that 30, you know, being part of the 27 Club, that's good enough for me. Leave a legacy behind. That's cool with me.
Yeah, so 35 is the new 27. So are you telling me, Self, that you have 4 years to live?
You know, it was weird because like
I did the math.
A couple years ago, I had one of these weird moments while doing a couple things alone in my room that I don't want to mention on here, but you know, in a different
like
headspace.
Watching fart porn and
you fart porn. No, a couple different substances where just chilling down, listen to, you know, music, and I was playing David Bowie. What was it? It was Ziggy Stardust, the album, and the first song that comes on, you know, like you get into this one part, and he's like yelling at the end. He's like, "You've got 5 years," or that's the chorus, and then he's just like yelling at you in between them saying that, and the feeling that was like over me in this state of paralysis, this state of just like, whoa, what the fuck? It was almost like you know, a vision, some sort of like, you know, signal being sent to me. It's like, bitch, like you've got 5 years to live if you keep doing this, or you got 5 years to live, period.
What if I was just like, what song are you talking about? That's not in the album. And then you like looked it up and it wasn't there, and you're just like, what the fuck?
The Mandela effect or some shit, you know. That no, it's definitely there. I've listened to it many times.
That's basically a really slow version of The Ring.
Yes. Yes, and we've heard my story about the ring too. Don't bring up the ring. The ring scares the shit out of me because I know one of the stunt girls that played Tamara.
Did it vibrate? Like what happened with the ring?
No, the ring. The girl that I used to like talk to, or that I used to like have like a little work friendly, playful thing with. She was. I was like hanging out with her because I just got the job, and it was like a few months of getting to know her and all this stuff. Never knew that she was in the movie The Ring. She was actually Tamara, who crawls out of the television and starts crawling.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and I was like, when she told me this, like it was like,
did you ever do the thing?
It was a creepy
like
ass
weird
movie because
crawl,
that was the first movie I'd ever seen in theaters that like actually gave me chills. When I saw it at the I think it was like 7th grade, I was just like, what the fuck? Maybe I was like 8th or 9th grade. I don't know. Anyways, scared the shit out of me. And here I am with this girl, you know, years later than that. And she just like tells me that she was in that movie and she's the girl that comes out. And then she has this like weird, like almost embarrassed, shy look that just immediately flashed into this creepy thing in my head. Like she's just going to sinisterly turn into a demon and just fucking eat me. It was fucking scary. Yeah. So I was just like, whoa, bro. Like it was a little too much for me to take in all at once.
Damn.
It was intense.
That's dope, man. I remember that movie, like me and my buddy who I went to see it with when it was in theaters. We almost got kicked out because you know when the horse goes crazy on the boat and just starts flipping out and then it just runs and then it jumps and it hits the fucking side and just fucking spins out and just gets wood chipped through the fucking motor of the boat.
Dude, it's fucking
That was
hilarious.
still the funniest thing I've ever seen in a movie. We laughed so hard for like
so
10
true.
minutes.
It's
We almost got
so-
thrown out because we're like fucking 13 or something like that when that movie came out. Like, wow. It's classic comedy. It's classic comedy, man.
I know most people would just not laugh. They'd be so sad, but dude, it's fucking funny.
Oh,
like
the
it's,
rest of the theater was silent.
yeah,
Completely silent.
yeah. I was
I'm looking around just like, come on. That's, oh, man.
That's right. I mean, I was on a fucking actual ferry in Seattle in the Puget Sound, which I think that's actually like the area that was recorded at too. And I remember like the first time I was on one, I actually pictured that. I thought like this horse is just gonna run out of here.
I'm having a really hard time just not laughing right now. Just remembering it. Just going, fuck. That was so fucking funny. And like the sound it makes. Just like, ding. In this very serious moment.
I know. The whole movie.
I'm so
not an
happy
ounce
you
of
relate to this.
there's not an ounce of comedy anywhere in that movie except for that unintentional brilliance.
And everybody else was completely behind it. Just like, wow, this is a very intense moment. I'm just like, holy shit, that horse just ate a dick, man. Oh, that is fucking great.
Poor freaking horse. Anyways, this whole episode has just
Speaking of
been
eating
very
dicks, did you see
productive.
Game of Thrones? That was fucking terrible this week.
Oh man, I was just getting done speaking with of this to Dave, and just like, how bad do the writers suck on this season? You know, I mean, I imagine that they probably are just trying to squeeze so much into something, but it is just like, it's like they're not even
They
trying
had
anymore.
like 2.5 years, and it feels like they wrote it, you know, in January or some shit.
Straight up, yo. It like just, and I don't even want to spoil stuff, but it just,
Well, spoiler alert, they left a fucking coffee cup on the table, a Starbucks cup in the middle of one of the scenes. It's like, yeah, no, they don't care, obviously.
yeah. How do you miss that? Even as an actress, like, how do you're just over it?
I missed it when I first saw the screenshot. Because
Well-
Chris just texted to me. He's like, oh, notice anything weird? And I didn't until you like pointed it out. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
fuck.
because everything that we see is dark as fuck. But like, what if you're actually there in the fucking, you know, it on set? Like, how do you not, as Daenerys, you know, like be like, oh, here's my coffee. By the way, let's
Well,
get this.
I think she was looking down the screenshot we had. She's probably texting, like, just behind the table for all we know. Like, man,
Maybe.
like, all of that was just so...
Well, that's definitely not
it's
the thing
making
that
me
bothered
upset.
me. It's the article that I read that like points out just basically everything about the plot and like what they're leaving out and how they're just rushing things, and like it's just really annoying because I don't know if it was I don't know how much of like the story was already written and then they're just taking
No,
like,
they're just going for it. They're making their own shit up. Like they went off script around like season 5 or something like that. It was like season 5 or 6.
so basically
And that was the first one that was past the books, and it like you can tell because it immediately got really bad. Then it got a little bit better. Then it got really bad, a little bit better, and now it's just bad.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say this right now. If you have not seen it yet and you are planning on watching it, turn off this right now because I'm about to spoil something big. I mean, realistically, you should have seen it already. It's been a couple weeks since, the whole scenario, at least, has gone down. But, like, why would they make the final battle against Cersei? I don't understand that. I would just be like, because now... after they've literally like had this dark, ominous thing lingering in the background, just in case you were about to get bored with any aspect of the show, there's always this like, well, winter is coming. It's almost here. We've got the White Walkers.
It was the tagline for the show.
Exactly.
And it was done in one episode.
So cheaply. And you're just like, now what? Like how can they ever expect a battle between them and Cersei to be anywhere near as exciting, gut-wrenching, important as that? Like, it's like, oh well, hey, yeah, you just totally.
I swear they did it because of like budget or something. Like I swear, there's like so much CGI involved with the other one. They're just like, let's just make it all real people against real people.
Well, the CGI thing, I don't know about that because it seems like they cheaped out by making everything almost invisible. You can't.
No, that's what I'm saying. They just basically just showed us the sound from that episode, and that was it.
Right. Oh,
and that was the entire final showdown.
Right. Well, and we're comparing it, and I think most things that have like a trilogy where there's multiple battles, especially epic battles like that, like in Lord of the Rings, the Battle of Helm's Deep was way better than the battle in Return of the King. It was much more exciting.
Yeah, we talked about this last week.
We did talk about this last week. I've probably been talking about it a lot with a lot of people. But yes, it's the same thing. Like the Battle of the Bastards was far superior to this fucking...
Oh, absolutely.
And then this upcoming one, just how easily... I don't know, maybe it is a little too soon for some people on this one, but like now all of a sudden you got this other thing that they have as an advantage, and then they mysteriously had like a way to make them like they have an infinite supply of them in this short amount of time, they
set it up like a season ago or something like that. But it's just so like, okay, why they kept, you know what? No, I'm just gonna get myself angry, and I've been trying not to do that this week. And that show. It's just bad, man. It's been
they got to do something, man. They got to do something. George has got to go talk to some people because they can't be having this show turn into another freaking Dexter or Lost, or I
think that ship sailed already. The ship sailed with a big stupid crossbow on the front, and it sailed super far away.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it'll be over after this, and then it'll go down as one of the okayest shows in history.
Well, I mean, you could still say that as far as the impact that it had, I mean, it's arguable that up until this very, very previous season, it is, it's, if not the greatest, one of the greatest shows of all time, just because of how big of an impact it's had on people, like how many people are like sucked into it, and how I don't know, like I can't think of another
definitely
one
of the biggest and most impactful, biggest, absolutely. I don't think it's one of the greatest. I think you had 3 or 4 pretty good seasons in there, especially with like generally untested actors, but like it's just been like that quality has just gone back and forth so much. To me, it's lost its spot. At one point, I would have said that, but yeah, it just.
But you're still on The Wire being number one, correct?
Yeah, neck and neck with Breaking Bad. It's really hard for me to make a choice there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I guess maybe it's my own preference against shows that have a little bit too much. And I know that it kind of has its twist between like Sopranos and other like crime shows, you know, like other CSI type shows or like drug and narcotic shows. But it definitely, it's a great show. Like the acting is amazing. You know, the realistic nature of stuff it was like never before seen. But I just think that like it just goes, there's just too much. There's something always constantly going on. It was just kind of hard. Like Breaking Bad was more, you know, dramatic. I felt like it was more, it just, the pacing of the show just kind of like drew you in, and the shots were more cinematic.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think that's where it gets a huge, gigantic leap up on that one, isn't it? Cinematography and like the artistry that did drive a lot of that stuff. But I think, you know, as kind of like up there and out there, I think, you know, as far as like being so well written and having such a strong, you know, statement about like the real world and like artistic purpose, like I think The Wire has, you know, kind of perfectly kind of weaved like one of the, you know, greatest like moral tales of our time, you know, and that's where I think it gets a little bit of an edge for me.
Right. Yeah.
I think those two like kind of cancel each other out in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. I think that the single story of, you know, and like the more obviously like fictional tale of it, the Breaking Bad's what got me. The fact that it was like, you know, a story of basically redemption, you know, even though can we really say that, you know, he really redeemed himself for all of the bad things he did? I would say in terms of, you know, anti-heroes on these television shows, he's probably like a lot less bad than so many of them, you know, like when you think about like a show like Barry, you know, you're watching it and you're like, this is, you feel so weird about how much you like Barry. You know, like, but you're like,
yeah,
really?
No, he's a super likable character.
He's a likable guy.
Have you gotten caught up?
Yeah, I've caught up to all of it. But you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
fuck
like
yeah.
In terms of like what he is compared to them, you know, like the he just keeps going with this sort of thing, you know, and it's like, yeah, he feels bad, but does that make it okay? I don't know. It was I like the show. I think it's funny, but it's just really interesting how, like, in a sense, desensitized we've become as a society to things like that. I mean, if you also look at, like, on one hand, it's great because it gets you to see things from a different perspective, kind of, you know, understanding the scenario always, it's a huge thing, but then also making justifications for certain stuff. It's kind of like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. But one thing that I saw recently that I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's that, I don't even know the name. It was basically...
Are you going to say extremely wicked,
yes,
vile, evil?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, dude, that's like the perfect setup for that movie. Yeah, I saw it this week too.
Like, what the fuck?
Whatever the fuck that weird ass movie's called. But like...
What the fuck?
Damn. Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
Well, I didn't think it was great. I thought the acting was great, but the fact that they shot it so that it wasn't like, it really made him a likable guy. Like, you liked him like the whole way through, even though you knew he was lying. You know, it didn't like really capture like the you know, vile nature of this person, I think, you know, or at least it didn't like make it known like how severe what he was doing was there. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm just being framed for all of these things, you know, and they don't really go into it. And so I'm like, what the fuck? Because it really.
Well, I think that was the point, though. I think the crux of the movie, to me, it comes like kind of towards it's like, you know, the start of Act 3 or something like that. After they've been setting this up, you know, they've really been building him up, making him very sympathetic the whole time, and then they have you know, Sheldon go in there and just drop the actual, like, you know, the things that he did in court for the first time. They actually spell it out and talk about it and start showing pictures, and you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's right. He was one of the worst fucking human beings to ever exist.
But it still didn't feel.
I thought that was the point.
I mean, that is the point, but it still didn't. It didn't hit me the way that it hit you then, in that sense, because at this point, it's still kind of like, well, no, like they're just allegations now, or they're it's still like, even though he's getting convicted of it, you're just still like, well, fuck, they don't show it though. They don't like show him doing these things. You know, like they didn't show him going and like trying to hurt.
Yeah, just the once at the end.
Yeah,
but I think it was more a story. Like it told in a way that was meant to make you identify with the girlfriend. You know, how she could like still
nothing like as hot as that chick, by the way. Like in real
really?
life, yeah. Like I saw a photo of her and I was like, no way, you're not even remotely attractive, because that girl is attractive in the movie. What's her name? Lily something Collins, something like that.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, no, I dug it. I thought it was interesting. Oh, you know what else? Okay. What else I saw that was like really good that just reminded me of. It was called Band-Aid. You ever seen that?
No, I don't. Off the top of my head, not by the title. No.
Oh, okay. It's from a couple of years ago. It's this couple, you know, and they're just like, they're on the edge. They're like in their 30s, just kind of in a rut, losers, and they decide to like start playing music together and like start a band to kind of like help heal the relationship. And it was just like, it was super funny. It's got a lot of really good people in it, and it was just really good, you know. So that's one I'd throw out there to check out without, you know, giving too much of it away.
Band-Aid. What? Why does it still sound?
Yeah,
okay, so
it's on Netflix.
They started it to like mend the relationship.
A young married couple tries to save their disintegrating relationship by turning their fights into songs with the help of an oddball neighbor.
Huh. I'm gonna go ahead and search this right now as we speak.
It's dope. Fred Armisen's like the neighbor.
Oh,
got Adam Pally in there.
Wait. Huh. And
it's a good flick.
Oh, I gotta check it out then. I'm not sure that I've seen it. Anyway, yeah. So what else is new in the world other than Netflix being hit or miss, or television in general being hit or miss?
Man, well, you know, I've been on a little bit of a kick this week. Bree hoped to inspire me to be like, you know, just putting down social media and the news for a little bit, for a few days, you know. And I think I just needed that cleanse, because things were so, I was just feeling myself be a fucking just black hole, you know, just a fucking downer, and it weighs on you if you're not careful, and it fucking sneaks up on you.
Totally.
But you know, every day is, you know, the most shocking scandal in history. So as soon as I like got back into it, like today, it like just, you know, everything kind of blew up, you know. I'm talking about one of my favorite headlines from yesterday was that they found some of the president's tax returns, and he has lost the single most money of any American, like, in that period, for sure. Like, he has lost over $1 billion. He's the worst businessman in America.
I've seen this. I've seen this meme. So so basically now it's very apparent that he's a con man who doesn't understand that he's a con man. Like, nobody told him, like, you're not a businessman. No self-respecting businessman loses this amount of money and does this, but you're a con man. Like, you're gonna make everybody believe that. And
he's the most successful con man of all time.
But the thing is, I don't think that he realizes that he's a con man. I don't think that he doesn't think that what he says is true. I feel like he's got some like crazy like Kenny Power shit going on in his head. You know, like the like.
Well, yeah. Oh no, it is textbook like I think it's narcissistic personality disorder. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, he checks off every every single box and all of the thing. It's literally a disorder.
Like he's like a Ted Bundy in terms of like a very rare person that comes along that you're just like, that's, you know, like evil. Like, you know, like there's something else in this person that's like designed to just be like like the epitome of like evil, you know, from any story or anything like that we've ever watched, you know, just like a fucking a Sauron or some shit, you know. Like just crazy fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you know, if you count on one thing, it's he's always going to do the worst fucking thing that you can imagine in every fucking scenario, and he's just been failing upwards for his entire life. It's the, you know, the rare, you know, shitstorm of somebody that deeply psychologically fucked, also being born with basically infinite money.
So,
and
like,
that's what you get.
So explain, because you might know a little bit more. I have no idea. I just like saw it, like I said, in a meme. When you're saying that he has lost billions of dollars and like lost more than any other American or any other businessman, period. Like, how has he been able to still maintain the visual that he's not? Like, or that he has stuff, that he is successful. Like, how is he even able to keep his businesses running and all of these things if that were the case? Like, how can something that big and that major go under the radar for so long?
Well, I think that is kind of that is what a lot of people have been waking up to, is that, you know, financial crime like this is just so rampant and they just get away with that shit. So, like, you know, he's been losing money because everything he touches, you know, turns to shit. The reverse of King Midas or whatever. And
did
like,
King Midas,
you know,
turn shit into gold?
Yeah.
Like actual shit? Anyway, sorry.
It's the other way around.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so his dad laundered, you know, fuckloads of money. And, you know, through tax stuff was giving it to his kids. And so Donald Trump was a multi-millionaire by the time he was 2.5 years old, because, you know, his dad was just doing shit like that. And so it was always daddy's money from like all the real estate games he played. Like it was always just like he gave all of his children just fuckloads of money like that. And then he decided to turn that into just start grifting. Just use the little capital that he had to just put his fucking name on everything and just start, you know, writing paper, you know, putting out things in the paper and doing interviews, and then making himself a celebrity. And all during that time, he's borrowing tons of that money from every bank in the U.S. until he defaulted on all of it. He's famous for not paying back people that work for him and stuff like that. Like, you know, he'll build a casino and then he'll just straight up stiff the you know, people who provided the glass. You know, the bill comes or they give it to him on credit, and then, you know, you just says, well, fuck you. Like, you know, people.
So what
who
sort of legal things have been preventing people from getting actual truth about that out? Like, has there been like stuff that's been protecting him? Because obviously, like, even with all the bad things you hear and see in the media, like, you don't have as many as you would expect, being that I can imagine, you know, he obviously does this to a lot of people, like very specific things of like people coming out and saying, like, where are all these, like, you know, documentaries or these like articles about like people really pointing out and giving facts about like how he shorted them for like work and stuff like that? Like, is it because he's got legal
there's tons of proof out there,
right? But like, what's stopping it from like getting out, you know, to the people, like in such a way that would be like, here it is, like, you know, just like anything else, something that, you know, gets put out in front of people to the point where like it's going to be impossible to deny it? Because right now I don't think a lot of people see that. It's basically
like we're at this point, and we're at a point now where they're just like, straight up, what he's doing is completely illegal. Like, they're bucking subpoenas and stuff like that. Like, these are legal things. Like, they should, like, you know, the Attorney General just held in contempt of court today. Like, people can and should go to jail, but they're protected by the fact that, like, this is completely uncharted territory. We've never had a administration president acting with such just wanton disregard for the rule of law. And when, like, we're saying like, hey, here's this evidence, here's this subpoena, like, like report to court and stuff like that. Like, we need to see this. This is a legal document. You cannot hold them. And they're just saying, what are you going to do about it? They just straight punked the entire legislative branch. And that's continuing to go on. And it's incredibly frustrating for those of us who follow it as closely as I do to just watch all this shit happening. And everybody just kind of just stands around, looks and goes, oh, shit, nobody's ever tried that before. To just say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
There's precedent. There's stuff for the Department of Justice that there's a legal memo. It serves as legal precedent that states that the president of the United States cannot be, indicted or charged with a crime while he's president. And so that has just kind of held everything up and just really just kind of torn the whole system down. That shit,
Yeah.
And so that's kind of that's the point that we're at, and that all of this stuff is readily available. It's all there. He's been a massive fraud like this entire time. It came out he never was a self-starter, did not earn any of his money, lost the most money of any single person in the United States in the 10 years that we know about, and is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that he's the worst businessman of all time. And then, of course, as soon as the bank stopped loaning to him in America, that's when he started going outward, and he started having Russia was loaning him money. And then he would have like a building that he would buy. He would buy like a brownstone in New York, and then he would sell it to some Russian dude later for 400% markup, like 3 months later. And like that's how they're like, I'm not sure if I got that exactly right, but that's how they were like laundering their money. And because their banks are so intertwined with the Kremlin over there, like that's exactly how he got to know all of these people who did what they did in 2016 and got him to where he is now. Yeah, it's all well documented shit, which is why it's so infuriating when everybody's like still arguing like, oh, the Mueller report did nothing. No, it is all there, like in writing. Anybody can fucking see this shit. Like it is like we have some incredible journalists in this country who have done all of the legwork and strung all these pieces together and kind of proven that like, hey, there are so many fucking connections and all this shit is rampant. Him, Jared Kushner, like. Oh man, and every day more shit keeps coming up that even I didn't know about. So it's like that much worse,
Yeah. And so, what stopped the Mueller report from like actually getting him, charged with anything?
Well, Congress has to charge him for that because Robert Mueller never could charge him with any crime. They couldn't arrest him.
So, legally, it's just on Congress now after seeing the report, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
because the
bastards.
Senate would never. Yeah, because the Senate would lock arms just like they always have, and you need a 2/3 majority in the Senate to actually impeach a president. So everybody knows with like 65 Republican senators or something like that, there's really no way that's going to happen. That we're going to get more than half of Republicans to flip on the president. And to flip, just to do their job. See, fuck, even just framing all this shit right here, just it fucks with your mind. It warps it, Because I'm like, oh, okay, they would flip like it's a team thing. Like, no, their job is to actually fucking administer justice. It doesn't matter who's in control.
Right.
They're there to protect the Constitution, not any individual, not a party, not any one of themselves. It's like to the American people. And they are fundamentally just saying, fuck that and fuck you, all you people. And that is just, and I don't want to lose that, the fact that like we're like, oh man, impeachment would never work. Like it's such a given that I forget to bring it up that every single Republican senator has, traded in this country. They've sold it off to a foreign adversary and betrayed their country for personal gain and profit. Like, that's fucking insane to me, and that needs to also be a part of every conference every time this comes up too. But that's kind of why they're not doing it. And so if the idea is right now that if people, if they move to impeachment in the House, because the House is like the they kind of act as like the grand jury indicting committee. The House is the ones who decides if, to bring up impeachment hearings. That's like it's like the court, you know. That's where the hearings actually would happen, where they bring up witnesses and testimony. It would be on TV every day. People like Robert Mueller himself would come forward and talk and lay out in excruciating detail every awful thing that he's done. And then, you know, they could just drag that on for months. Just every night in the news, there'd be another crazy story, another witness, you know, talking firsthand about all of the, you know, terrible shit that the president has done. It'd be like the last episode of Seinfeld, you know? So this shit could go on for like a fucking year or something. And then they decide if, you know, they should move for impeachment. And then the Senate kind of acts as the jury. So they decide, and they need 2/3 of the Senate to vote to remove the president. So knowing that won't happen, everybody's kind of pussyfooting around and going, well, we shouldn't, you know, impeach because, you know, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they know that there's Fox News is a thing. The, you know, right-wing propaganda machine that's just going out there every night saying fake news. The Mueller report isn't real. The Mueller report completely exonerated the president, which it says no thing of the sort. And it's a free document that anybody can go read right now and see all the fucking awful things he's done. But they know people are not going to do that. They're just going to trust Sean Hannity to tell them how they feel. And so, you know, and people don't get all this nuance. So people are taking the people not impeaching him as a tacit, you know, like endorsement of what he's doing. Say, oh, well, how bad can it be? They're not even trying to impeach him.
Be like, see, we're free, we're innocent of all charges, you know, since he didn't get convicted, and so we're innocent. And they're like, no, like, you know, that he's not innocent of anything. He just didn't, you know, nothing has happened yet. Like, but that's what they were saying, you know, on NPR. Like, they were coming out and like just making it seem like they were clear of all charges, and it's like, no, you're not clear of anything. Like, you just freaking it was just like, it's not, nothing's being done about it.
Yeah, exactly. They come out and they say, well, you know, Robert Mueller didn't charge, therefore we are like free and out. Even though like the first sentence in the Mueller report is like, you know, we legally could not charge the president, so we are leaving this report to Congress to decide. And then, of course, you know, now it's being redacted. It's literally being held back. Like, even Congress has not seen the report, which they're supposed to have legally. Like, they should have it. The Attorney General and the Department of Justice are just straight up breaking the law and not allowing them to see it. Like, fuck, you know? Nobody's tried this. Like, they're literally going to, like, they're just going maximalist with this the entire way, you know? Like, they'll fucking, I'm sure somebody just tried to just walk in there and take it. They'd fist fight him, like, on the, like, to keep him away from that shit. They'd swallow it. They'd eat that shit or something. Like, it's crazy, man, that we're doing this now. And yeah, man. So the misinformation out there is fucking strong, and the case for impeachment is the strongest one. Like, if not this, then what? What actually warrants impeachment? Like, you know, they tried to impeach Clinton over, you know, lying to the Senate about a blowjob, and this is so many factors worse than Watergate, even, you know, what's supposed to be the worst scandal of all time, the scandal that we name scandals over. And this is like 50 of those at least. And every day there's more. And literally nobody's been held accountable. You know, maybe Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer, and kind of like the former EPA head. That's it. Nobody else has gone to jail or even like served any kind of time or anything for what they've done. And, you know, here we are. You know, I mean, I was just looking past the story where the president today, right before I called you, I just scrolled through and saw a thing from a rally that was today, where he was saying, like, we got to do something about the immigrants, folks. And then somebody was like, shoot him, in the crowd. And then he's like, haha, yeah, only here in Florida. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, he just went on TV in front of thousands of people and endorsed citizens going out and shooting migrants as they cross the border. That just fucking happened. Like, what's wrong with this person? How are we how can anybody look at any one of these things, not to mention there's fucking 6 of them a day, and claim that this is normal like we're in normal times right
It's
now.
definitely not normal. It's comical though, in the way that it's not really funny, but it's like funny if you think about like this guy really like has like no idea what his job is, because he's like telling a joke like an old man would, like as if like, you know, like an uncle, like that's, you know, like everybody's got one, like somebody's like the conservative like uncle character or dad that's like there at the party that just like will staunchly, you know, like just like try to like, you know, make everything about their point or their way of life, and then they'll like make jokes like that, like, oh yeah, only here in Florida. like because I mean there's some fucking kind of hilarious truth to that. Like Florida's a fucked up place and there's always weird shit that happens there in Florida. That's kind of the thing. But like the fact that he like went there to say that just shows that he cares more about being on Twitter and seeing memes of like, you know, Florida man and like making a joke out of it than actually taking the situation seriously, like taking like a threat like that, like, you know, especially knowing that they're going to fucking go and flip this around and say something. Like he has to know, like he has to know, and he just doesn't give a shit.
He knows. He has put all of his eggs in one basket, and that is, you know, stoking white supremacy and getting his most hardcore fucking people to be ready to go to literal civil war to protect him. You know, they have signed on that fucking deeply. I mean, there's been how many school shootings this week? There's been how many fucking hate crimes every day. There's fucking somebody just got fucking one of them was racially motivated. I mean, we talked about this last week. I don't need to get into it right now, especially without my notes in front of me. I don't want to fucking, you know, mess up facts and stuff. But it's, you know, that's where he's at, man. We've got people in the army. The army's fucking training people, and white supremacy is fucking embedded itself into that shit now too. You know, every day I'm seeing more stories about, you know, Navy SEALs who are arrested because they're plotting terrorist attacks against, you know, mosques and shit like that.
What?
Like, yeah. You know, how many mass assassination plots of all of the heads of the Democratic Party have been thwarted in the last year? There's been 3, I think, by my count.
How many of the Navy SEAL things like that?
And that's just that we know of. Oh yeah, there was a Coast Guard commander that was caught who was trying to execute a mass assassination plot for like Nancy Pelosi, all the Democrats, basically all people running in 2020. You know, CNN hosts and
he was in the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like a Coast Guard commander, and then I know.
Okay.
Did I talk last week about the Navy SEAL who was like warned against like reporting their commander for war crimes? It was like only when the press got it did it finally start to like kind of take hold. But I literally have not seen this story anywhere else. But like a Navy SEAL, you know, is out there just shooting people, like just civilians in the head, like for the fuck of it. Like nobody's stopping these people, and it's
in America.
It's fucking wild, man.
In America?
No. Like in, you know, like in Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I think I talked a little bit about last week about how, you know, it came out that in the UN came out with a report that said that more than half of all, basically we killed more civilians than anything else in 2018.
I mean,
and it's like, it was like one of the biggest causes of death out there. It's like, what the fuck? Like we're not even pretending to be the good guys anymore. So it's crazy out there, man. And so that's why I think, you know, I think we should impeach him, even though I know it won't go anywhere. And even though I know that if we, you know, move to impeach or we take it to the Senate and then they vote not to impeach him, they're just going to run around going like, see, he did nothing wrong. That's, you know, further vindication, blah, blah. They're going to use it and spin it that way. But like, fuck him, you know? Fuck that. Like we should fucking parade everybody out there, have it on TV every day, lay all this shit out for the American people and let them all fucking sit there with it then and decide what kind of people they are, you know? Put people on the record for the rest of their lives. Like, where were you at this moment in history? Because there's no escaping the information, you know, and what he's done. And I think we need to make it just painfully clear, play it on every TV, every cable news show, but in the night, make it inescapable, all of the awful shit he's done, and then make them sit down. And if they still, I mean, they still will, but make them live with that. Why make it comfortable for anybody who's running interference for him? And I mean that, for Congress and for just people who are still supporting this kind of shit without looking into it, because it's easier and more convenient to buy into this than it is to, look at the horrors of what you have sought to make this country of. I mean, anyways, sunshines and rainbows. Man.
Well, man, I'm glad to see that your break from social media and everything at least helped you a little bit. I can only imagine.
Oh no, it did actually. I got mentally clear. Like, I feel like I couldn't even fucking talk last week. I was just like blah, blah, just all over my head, just like I'm just so, everything makes me so fucking mad and sad all the time, and I don't know what fucking emotion this is, and I just fucking shut down. And so I'm like, yeah. She's like, nope, you're done. You're cut off. Like, stop. Put this away. And it let me just fucking like sleep peacefully for a couple of nights. It'll do you wonders.
Yeah, well, I think by now you could tell that if you take a few days off, it's not going to stop the rapid nature of these things happening. So it'll give you plenty of shit to catch up all at once. You can go and, you don't have to be on the horn every day. You could probably, for your own wits and do what, you just did. And I think that's good.
Nobody can. And there's a vast network of people out there fighting this fight every day who are okay with tagging each other in and out every now and then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to. Otherwise, you can't be of any use if you can't operate, You can't function. Anyways.
Well, speaking of not functioning, I am running on very little sleep. Got pretty high. It's been a good birthday 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah.
As is tradition, I tend to just fucking crash hard towards the end of the night on my actual birthday, and then sleep all the next day even though I gotta work.
Damn. Well, I mean, that's what you gotta do. I actually have to get onto cleaning. I started
cakefarts.com.
Yeah, that too. Cleaning up my browser so that people don't think that I'm into some weird fucking shit. No, I started this crazy project, as I do every once in a while, where I allow my living space to get so utterly disgusting and practically unlivable that I'm forced to, do a whole reset and deep clean everything. I have a process. You got to go to my car, from my car, and clean everything in the car, pull everything that's in my car that's supposed to be inside. And then when it's inside, I had to go through not only all of my shit and trash and stuff that's accumulated and just random junk that I've had to store from Lost in the Sauce and Desert Hearts, and then just everything else. I went into my shed that we have all this crap back there and I just started cleaning, and I started just doing something that my room is still a freaking disaster, so I'm gonna be up till I think the wee hours of the morning getting this thing done. So wish me luck. That's all I'm saying.
How good does it feel when it is done, man?
That's what I'm shooting for. I'm really hoping that I don't allow the pizza coma and, the fact that I've been hitting the weed pen all day and had a chance to sit down here after work. I don't want to let all that, slow me down and stop me. You guys gotta give me a little rally here. Give me a little, a pick me up. I gotta get back into the groove. Anything that you'd recommend putting on in the background while watching TV to do that to, or any music to listen to, or any podcast?
Oh man. Yeah, you know what? You want to have some fun? I don't know if I've talked about these guys yet on the show, but they're two dudes who I've been really, really enjoying their fucking body of work. The Bodega Boys, it's a podcast.
Okay.
And these two dudes who just got a show on Showtime. It's like a late night show kind of thing called Deez and Mero.
Uh-huh.
And they're just they crack me up, dude. They're the funniest fucking dudes, and they just got such a wide range of topics in that they're all very specific to me. They just talk about hip hop, basketball, pornography, and politics. Just going through all this shit, and they're fucking hilarious, dude. So, yeah, it's a good show. I would check that out. Throw it on in the background, throw in your earbuds or some shit, and just clean. That's what I did actually a week or two ago, and it was nice.
Word. Sounds good. That sounds like that's what I'm going to do. Well, anyways, we've got a lot of people who probably won't hear this until next week because Lightning in a Bottle is this
Right.
week. People are on their way. We wish you all the very best time. I'm very curious to see how it all plays out because of that whole,
the new venue,
the new county, and the whole no weed or drugs of any kind sort of thing, and the implementation of like undercovers and you didn't know about that?
Oh no.
Oh, dude. Okay, so apparently there was this like video leaked a few months ago. Because they didn't find out until definitely less than a year out or they hadn't announced it at least, but they found out that they were not going to be using the same venues they have for the past 4 years. Which, kind of started to seem like the permanent place for Lightning in a Bottle. It was kind of hard to imagine anywhere else. And so they had to find a new spot, and they settled on this place in Kern County that was not, it's a beautiful area, but the thing is, I think that they found a place that could actually host it, but they had to move it from Memorial Day weekend, which is the one that they always have it on, which made it easier for so many people to go. They had to move it to another day because that weekend was booked at that spot. And so they moved it here in a rush because everything worked out. Well, as they're going through all the other stuff and things are locked down, they get their final, approvals or whatever from, the city or the county. And there's a video of a lady saying, we'll go ahead and grant you, the permit for this event. But however, make note if there is any, use or any witnessed use of any drugs or marijuana, then the festival is going to be shut down. And and you're like, what? And the video was taken down kind of quickly. So I'm wondering if somebody exaggerated that bit of it and found a video from some other hearing or some other thing and it wasn't real, or if Lightning in a Bottle's no, take that shit down. But they took it down, and my whole thought though was just wow, or there was also a video of them asking later, or it was actually in an article where they had asked, after coming back to them and saying that's just unrealistic. They go, okay, so what, you tell us then, what is the percentage chance that this festival can be completely drug free and weed free? There won't be anything going on that our cops won't observe. And they're 0%, absolutely 0%. There's not 1% chance that is actually going to be a thing, and so it's you let us know what's up right now. So I guess after that they said that they what I think is going to happen is there's just going to be a lot more of arrests, at the Temecula Riverside one that was there 4 or 5 years ago. Apparently there was 1,000 people arrested, or more than that even, for weed related charges and stuff like that.
Oh shit.
Can you imagine that at a festival like that, where it's just really? But that's what happens when you go to a new place, a new county, and it's it's a nice.
Well, be ready to swallow your shit quick, kids.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and things like this, to us, we all look forward to it. But the counties that surround, these festivals really hate it for some reason. Especially in the more conservative areas, it's just what's this hippie thing coming through our town, And so, yeah, it would suck really bad. The first thought that went through my head when I heard all this, or when I was reading it, was Ja Rule's just gonna be posted up and be hey, cause it's gonna take the attention off of him, because that's gonna be a big thing. Lightning in a Bottle is a huge festival, and yeah.
Well, good luck to everybody going out there, man. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I really do think that it's going to be awesome, and it looks like it's a beautiful area. I hope everybody has a great time. I am low key jealous.
I hope that works out. If they keep going there, that's convenient,
Yeah, it's a lot closer.
You got any plugs?
So shit. Well, we got Mutate coming up next Friday, and then the following Sunday, the same Sunday, is going to be Art in the Park, our first one back after Lost in the Sauce and after Desert Art. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. In fact, I'm supposed to go post something about that tonight. Thanks for reminding me. Other than that, just, follow Mutate, follow Art in the Park.
And follow us on social media at Let It Bleed Cast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Walk, don't run. That's right. I said that correctly. And don't listen to the show until at least 30 minutes after you've eaten. You don't want to cramp up. Okay? Safety first. Let it bleed second. Always. Okay? Subscribe.
Yeah. Just subscribe. Tell your friends, your sisters, brothers, mothers, sons, all of them. Tell them about our shit. And
Angela, Rita, Teresa, Monica, all the girls from Mambo Number 5.
yes, all of
Tell
them.
them too.
Gosh, I need to go get a little bit of Monica in my life right now. Anyway,
All right.
Actually, that's really fucking weird. Anyway, sorry, I'm really high. This is what happens when you let us have a stupid high episode for Phil's birthday. He's got to go pass out, and I'm just like actually subconsciously prolonging this on purpose as like a torture for him. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. As always, let it bleed.
Oh, man, I fucking knew it.
All right.